I think many Christians fail when it comes down to learning how to deal with the ending of a season. Specifically, my video today is about friends. So you and someone you were pretty close, you served each other, you honored each other, but with time, things have changed. Maybe you relocated, maybe one of you got married, one of you became a parent, something happened and the season changed. And when I say something happened, not necessarily anything bad, nothing where there was any betrayal or dishonor or so on. The season just changed. And instead of learning how to deal with that in a godly way, instead of learning how to deal with that in a godly way, whether it's by, because the truth is that the people who are in relationship will notice when something has changed, right? And rather than just learning that it's a changing of the season, instead we tell ourselves stories that this person is jealous of us, that this person doesn't like us. I mean, we tell ourselves all these stories, and soon there is resentment, bitterness, unforgiveness, and many times we don't even have a conversation with the person. So what ends up happening? The relationship becomes strained, because now whomever is having these feelings is coming out in the relationship. And so the passive aggression starts. You see the passive aggression on social media, and before you know it, a relationship that could have still be maintained at its new level, because perhaps with the new season you guys can't be as close as you used to be, you know, and perhaps things would have come together again, maybe not. But the point is, now it misses that opportunity because it wasn't a healthy place for the season to change. I think it's a beautiful thing when friendships, relationships can go through their different seasons and it's still safe. And it's one of the things with my long-term friendships, big up on myself and know myself. All the friendships I've had going close to 2 decades is because we learned how to honor differing seasons. Because you don't always have to be this close. And there's someone who, it's interesting because perhaps I'm going 10 years now into knowing her, but I think we became friends maybe 8 or so years ago, and we're not as close as we used to be. And it's a beautiful thing when we can honor that space. I have nothing against her. I know it's just a changing season. And 1 year for my birthday, she wrote me a beautiful message, and a part of the message she said, even though seasons have changed and we're not as close as we used to be, I still love you. I will never forget how you have been there for me, you know, times when it was just you alone. And I smiled, and it was just such a beautiful thing to be able to honor a different season without dishonoring what you would have experienced together, or even thinking or classifying that all the moments that you shared prior to this change of season was fake, wasn't real, because the person didn't actually love you. And I think as believers, it's not something that we know how to handle with care, because it needs to be handled with care, because we're dealing with God's people and emotions. Yeah? So this is just a reminder that when seasons change in relationships, it doesn't mean that the person didn't like you before. It doesn't mean the person is jealous of your now. It doesn't mean you are jealous of the person's now. It just means that the season has changed, and it requires that you both show up differently. Nobody's better than the other, more than the other. And perhaps when the season changes again, you all could come together again. But if not, you can still both honor each other. And there doesn't need to be any form of animosity. So I think that's something we need to work on as believers. Yeah. Because what has happened is sometimes the season changed and it just needed to be handled graciously. And because it wasn't, now there's something going on between the two people. Some silent animosity and resentment and so on. But I implore you, if with humility and grace and love, you could reach out to whomever you think you might have that with and have an honest conversation. No political words and HR language or therapy language. Just two people giving honor to each other.